Well, hello and welcome to this video where I'm going to answer your questions. Earlier today, I asked you to ask me some questions and I got a lot of responses, so thank you for that. I, of course, can't answer all of them, but I will do my best to answer about 20 questions that you submitted, questions about me. I have to admit, it's a little awkward for me to talk about myself, but I will do that and I'll try to answer your questions in this video. So it's not really an English lesson, but you can kind of listen to how I answer these questions and use my answers as a model if you were to have the same questions asked of you. Okay, here we go. First question from Zoo. Do you sometimes feel tired of teaching English to everyone? Well, no, not really. I wouldn't say that I'm tired of teaching English, but it is kind of like work. Like, I like YouTube, it's a lot of fun, but at the same time, it is a little bit like work. So do I ever get tired of it? A tiny bit. I'm never tired of the people though. I really like all of you. I like the fact that you're learning English, but I do sometimes now take breaks every once in a while, and that helps me when I'm getting a little bit tired of teaching English to everyone. This next question is from Yusuf. What is the most embarrassing moment you've ever experienced? Well, I don't know if I've told this story before, but in my first or second year of teaching, the principal came to observe my teaching. So I was being evaluated by my boss, essentially. And as I was teaching, I tripped over the recycle bin and I almost fell. When I teach, I usually don't stand in one spot. So I was teaching and I was quite active in my teaching and I almost tripped over the recycle bin. That was one of the most embarrassing moments in my life. This next question is from Ang. How do you stay smart and keep fit? Well, I wouldn't say that I'm smart and fit, but I will say this, I walk a lot. In order to stay fit and in order to stay smart, walking is what I do. Now that might sound like a funny answer. Exercise is for staying fit, not necessarily for your mind. At least that's not what everyone thinks. But I find that when I go for a walk every day, when I walk fast enough for it to feel like exercise, it helps me stay fit and it helps my mind to stay fit as well. This next question is from Stefania. I'd like to know about the school system where you live. Which subjects do you teach? How many hours each week and what technology do you use? So I currently teach French and business. Those are the two classes I teach. I also sometimes teach computer class. I did that last semester. A full-time teacher, I'm not full-time, a full-time teacher would work from about 8 till 4 every day and also work at home at night. Teaching's a very busy job. And then what are the hours for the students? Students come to school between 9 and 3. So teachers are here longer, obviously, because we have more work to do. So the school day starts at 9 and ends at 3 for students. The technology I use, I have my TV, I have a projector up here, so I can use 2 screens at once if I need to. I also have a MacBook, I have a laptop that I can use. And in my school, every student has a laptop. We have Wi-Fi throughout the building, so it's very easy for me to integrate technology into my lessons. This next question is from Glila. Why does Canada have one of the best educational systems in the world? Well, that's an interesting question. I think part of it is because we spend a lot of tax dollars on our educational system. So as a citizen, I pay tax. And a good deal of my money is used to make sure that we have good schools, good elementary schools, high schools, colleges, and universities. I also think we're a country where it's important to get an education in order to get a good job. I know that's true in every country in the world, but certainly in Canada, if you want a really good job, you do need to learn a trade or you need to go to college or university and get a degree. It's just a good way to get a good job. So people are motivated and people want a good education. Therefore, there's a lot of incentive for us in Canada to give that kind of education. So hopefully that answered your question. This next question is from Know That, a longtime viewer of the channel. Of the things you say you're bad at, which one would you most like to be good at? And is there anything you still regret a bit today that you didn't do when you had the chance? Well, the one thing I'm not good at is I can't sing. I can't sing on key. If you wanted me to sing a C note, I don't know how to do that. So that is one thing I wish I was better at. I think if you had asked me in my late teens, I would have said my dream was to be like a rock star or something, like most teenagers. But I couldn't sing, and I don't play any musical instruments either. In terms of regrets though, the second question, one thing I do regret is that I don't speak Dutch. My parents came from the Netherlands when they were children. My dad spoke Dutch and my mom speaks Dutch fairly well. My dad a bit better than my mom. And I think I regret that I didn't learn to speak Dutch. I should have just asked them to speak Dutch to me more often. That would have really helped me, I think. I would speak 3 languages then. That would be cool. This next question is from Bazurmanovlad. Hopefully I said your name correctly. Have you always had a beard? No. When I was a kid, I didn't have a beard. Sorry, that was a lame joke. No, I've only had a beard for the last 15 or 20 years. I did not have a beard for most of my adult life. Right now, my beard grows in thick enough that it's respectable. But when I was younger, I didn't have enough hair growth for it to look good. So no, I haven't always had a beard. It's just something I've had for the last 15 or 20 years, maybe a bit longer. It's hard to remember, actually. This next question is from Chi. What's your job? Are you retired? What city do you live in? Well, my day job, as we would say, is that I am a high school teacher. I teach at a high school every day, but I'm only part-time. The closest city to me is the city of Hamilton. If you look at a map and find Hamilton, Ontario, and go south a bit, eventually, when you're out in the middle of nowhere, that's where I live. And then, am I retired? No, I'm not retired. I'm not quite old enough to retire. My plan is to still teach part-time for at least another 10 or 15 years, and then eventually I'll retire. But I don't think I'm going to retire from YouTube anytime soon. We'll see. This next question is from Mode Eggs, another longtime viewer. Fun question. Do you think the chicken came first or the egg? Now, that's just a funny question. I don't know if you've heard that one before, but I'm not sure. The chicken? Maybe. The egg? I'm not sure. But the real question, what's something you wish the younger generations today had or did more of? Well, I think they do this, but I'm just going to say I wish they spent more time outside. I love phones, I love technology, I love being on a screen myself, but I do think if the younger people these days, if they could spend a little more time getting some fresh air and some sunshine, I think that would be good for them. So that's the thing. I think a lot of them do it, or at least they start to do it by the time they reach their 20s, but certainly spend more time outside. This next question is from Gergo. What would you do if you saw the news that a meteorite was going to hit the Earth? Oh, that's a good question. So I'm assuming it's a big meteorite and that the Earth's in trouble and we're all in trouble. I think I would probably just get a lawn chair, get one for Jen, and probably just sit outside and watch it happen. I'm sure that's my dream scenario. I'd be like, well, oh well. In reality, I'd probably be panicking and trying to hide in my basement or something. But certainly the thought of, well, there's nothing we can do now. Let's just sit and watch this big meteorite hit the Earth. I think that's probably what I would do. This next question is from an anonymous person. I don't know their name. But the question is, hi Bob, what is your motto in life? Oh, this is an easy one. Be kind. Life is way too short to be mean to people or to be a jerk. Be kind to each other. When you see that first person that you see every day, say hi. And as you go through your day, do little things that help other people. So my motto, be kind. This next question is from Moogex. Do people at your school know that you're a teacher on YouTube with over 1 million subscribers? Yes, they do. You know, when I first started YouTube, I hardly told anybody. Like Jen, my wife, knew I was doing it. A few other people that I knew, but I just didn't tell people. But eventually, people do find out, like especially when your channel's growing. So yes, my colleagues and students at school, most of them know. It's not something I talk about a lot. It's something I'm really proud of though, but I owe all of it to all of you. If it wasn't for all of you watching, my channel wouldn't be this big. So thank you for clicking that subscribe button whenever you did. It's sometime in the past, you decided to click it. Thank you, you're awesome. This next question is from Khalid. What would be the best advice you can give to novice teachers who are just starting their career? So I teach high school, so I'm going to talk mostly about high school students. They're between the age of 13 to 17 or 18. I think it's important to know your students a little bit. I mean, you're not their friend or anything like that, but you need to know a little bit about them. What are their hobbies? Do they play a sport? Do they like to go golfing? Do they have a horse at home or something like that? When you know a little bit about your students, it's easier to talk to them and easier to teach them. So you don't want to be nosy. You don't want to ask a lot of questions because sometimes people have private information they don't want to share, but you should have conversations with your students every once in a while about what they like and what they enjoy doing. If you're a language teacher, it's a lot easier because you can ask them to write a little bit about their hobby or some other pastime. But number one, get to know your students at least enough so you can enjoy teaching them and they can enjoy having you as a teacher. This next question is actually from two different people, and the questions are similar, so I'll read both of them. From Lazaro, I'm amazed at the different things you do on a regular basis. How hard is it for you to accomplish so many tasks at the same time? And from Hussein, how do you handle life as a teacher, farmer, and father? You are not tired all the time. You are happy. I'm always glad to see you smiling. So first of all, with social media, you only see happy Bob. There is an angry Bob and a sad Bob and all those other things as well. But in terms of time management, I like to describe it this way. All of the things I do fit nicely with each other. So farming primarily happens in the summer, and as a teacher, I don't work during the summer. I'm also part-time. I'm only about 70-75% as a teacher, depending on the semester. So I do have time each day to teach, and I have time to make videos for you. And then the last one, well, I cut back a little bit on the amount of work I did on YouTube to spend more time as a father with my family. I used to do live streams every Saturday. I don't do that anymore. So I try to make sure I'm efficient with my time, but also everything I do kind of works nicely together. And by the way, I'll step out of the way so you can finish reading the sign. If I was getting a little boring during that segment, I'm sure you started to read this. Is it time for your yearly meds check? Book a review with our pharmacist. I think that's for older people probably. This next question is from Ario. Hi Ario. How can we enjoy learning English as an intermediate learner? Well, there's a couple of things you should do when you reach the intermediate level. One is you should listen to a lot of English songs. You should find some music that you love. You should be reading books that are written for English people, not for English learners. So when you get to the intermediate stage, it's good to read things that are written for you as a learner, but you should also start reading the same books that I'm reading, okay? It's gonna be a little hard to read that level of English, but you should definitely do that. And then when you choose music and you choose to read, choose the things you like. That's how you can be excited, and that's how you can enjoy being an intermediate learner. This next question is from Nuristan. Where did you do your English degree? Well, here's a little secret. I don't have an English degree. I did go to university though. I'm not gonna say exactly where, but I did go to university in the state of Michigan. I am a French teacher by trade. So my degree is in teaching French as a foreign language, and my degree is in education. So I have been trained to teach languages. The one I'm trained to teach is French. But I'm not a native French speaker. So I decided when I started YouTube that I would take all of the things I know about teaching a language and use it to teach English instead of French. Because when I speak French, I have a little bit of an accent. Quand je parle français, c'est pas parfait du tout. So I just thought, if I'm going to teach English on YouTube, or if I'm going to teach a language on YouTube, I will teach English. This next question is from Patana. Do you ever think about retirement? If you retire from teaching, will you still make videos on this channel? Well, I can't promise that I'll keep making videos on this channel forever, but what I will say to answer your first question, I do think about retirement sometimes, but I'm still quite young. I'm in my early 50s. But when you're a teacher, every semester you have different students, and sometimes you have classes that are more challenging than others. And when I have a semester like that, I think about retirement more often. But if you want my ultimate plan, I don't know what it is. I plan to keep teaching in a school part-time for many years, and I plan to keep doing YouTube. I think I said on my live stream earlier this year that I'm doing it for at least 7 more years. So we'll see how it goes. But at this point in time, I enjoy my job and I really enjoy YouTube. So I'm going to keep doing both. This next question is from Spood. Are you aware of the risk of burnout by helping us so much? How do you recharge your batteries? Yes, I'm definitely aware that if you work too much, you can eventually burn out. By the way, burnout means you're just exhausted and tired and don't feel like doing something anymore. So I'm aware of it. I have adjusted my YouTube schedule over the last few years. I used to do 4 videos a week on my other channel. I only do 2. I used to do 2 live streams a week. I only do 1, but I still put a video out almost every Tuesday. So yes, I'm aware of it. And in my work life and my YouTube life, I have looked for balance. So I've reduced the amount I work outside of the house. So I teach part-time, as I mentioned, and I've reduced the amount of YouTube that I do, and it seems to be a good balance right now. So how do I recharge my batteries? Usually by sitting and watching cooking shows, even though I'm not a chef. I like to play video games. Right now I'm playing one called Against the Storm, and I love watching British and French television shows. So that's how I recharge. This next question is from Luana. I'm from Algeria. Have you ever visited any countries in Africa? Yes, I've been to South Africa. I went to South Africa way back in the 2000s. I think it was 2007 or 2008. I went on a school trip. We went to visit another school and to kind of help them a little bit there and to learn from them as well. So yes, I've been to South Africa. I haven't been to any other country in Africa, but someday maybe Jen and I will travel more, and I will do that. This next question is from an anonymous person. How long did you study French, and how old were you when you started? Well, formally I studied French from age 6 until about age 22 or 23. So from grade 1, when I was 6 years old, until I finished university. So I studied French for a number of years. Informally though, I've been studying French my whole life. You never really stop learning a language. In fact, it's important to keep practicing and learning. So how long have I studied French? Since I was 6 years old, and I still continue to study French today. This next question is from Faye. What do you do with all the space on your land? Well, we grow a lot of stuff. That's what we do. So we have hay fields, we have the flower fields. Behind me, our biggest field right now is a wheat field. So there is winter wheat in there. You can actually see that it's a little bit green. It's just starting to break dormancy and start to grow. So we grow things. In our large field, we grow soybeans, we grow wheat, we grow corn, and it's kind of on a rotation. Mostly it's wheat and soybeans and occasionally corn. Corn's a really expensive crop to grow, so I don't always grow that every 3rd year. It's usually every 4th or 5th year. And then we have some hay as well and some pasture. We have a few goats in the barn, so they go out on the pasture and eat that. So what do we do with all this space? We enjoy it, but we also grow a lot of stuff. This next question is from Hikam. Do you think farm life is harsh? Well, something goes wrong every year, so in some ways it is harsh. Last year we had a funny insect that started eating our flowers when they were really young. And then last year towards the end of the growing season it rained too much. So Jen and I often say there's always something that goes wrong each year. But if you work at it and you learn how to do it well, no, it's not harsh. The job though of farming is difficult, like it's all manual labor. We do some things with the tractor. Now, the field behind me, the wheat field, that's all done with a tractor. But when I talk about flowers, it's mostly done by hand. So that is hard. You know, as you get older, it's hard on your body and stuff like that. But is farm life harsh? It has its ups and downs. It has its pros and cons. But overall, I would say a little bit, but it's a little bit harsh, but I love it. Next question is from Axmeddaukar. Why do you only grow flowers on your farm? Why not some fruit or other crops? Do they not grow well if you plant them? So yeah, we do grow other crops, right? We grow wheat, we grow corn, we grow soybeans. But fruit, that's a good question. Our soil is not good for growing fruit. I think we could grow apples or pears, but we can't grow peaches or apricots or plums or any of the really, really yummy fruit. And then why don't we grow apples? If I just said we could grow apples. Well, there's only so much time in a day. We have enough on our plate There's a number of English phrases I could use. We've simply chosen to do one thing over another. Apples would be cool. Maybe someday we'll get a few apple trees, but right now we have enough work between the flowers and the other crops and YouTube and me going to work to teach every day. We have enough on our plate that we don't want to add something else. Well, hey, thank you for watching this video where I basically talked about myself for 10 or 15 minutes. I hope you did enjoy it. If this is your first time here, don't forget to click that red subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. And if you have some time, well, first of all, you should leave a comment as well. But if you have some time, why don't you stick around and watch another English lesson. Bye.